Hey folks, today's episode is brought to you by MAGA Shop, only at MAGAPod.com. You can get t-shirts, stickers, and more, all coming this Saturday morning, only on MAGAPod.com. Help save the show and support the show. Get some fresh swag in the process from MAGA Shop, only on MAGAPod.com. Now, let's start the show.
Our country has tremendous potential, but we don't use it. And what we really have to do is make America great again.
What is up, centipedes? Welcome to MAGA Pod, the only podcast dedicated to the idea of Make America Great Again. Once again, I'm your host, Mark Hammond, and I'm so glad to be here with you today. Now, we have a huge show. Friend of the show, Ross the Colonel, has returned. He has come back. He was originally on episode 2, and now he is here today again, and he brought along his friend and one of the moderators from _Donald on Reddit. That guy's name is Arsash. Awesome, based guy, will kind of break down what the Donald is all about and tell us how we can sign up, how we can be a part of that great community. So today we're talking a lot about _Donald. If you know what that is, you're going to love it. So if you're already a member of the Donald, you're going to love it. We have a really great talk. We'll have a really fun time. If you don't know what it is, then you have to listen to this episode because you're going to find out all the cool stuff that's going on, and you're going to find about the place on the internet for Donald Trump supporters and fans, and it is at _Donald at Reddit. Now, before we jump into this great conversation, we have a little bit of housekeeping to do. I got a few things we need to talk about, and damn, it feels like we haven't spoken in so long. It's been a lot of bullshit. So let me go Fraser Crane on this nigga for a second, for 1 minute. So I'm going to say something universal, but personal people I've had problems with are going to understand what I'm saying. Thereby, everyone kind of gets a half-baked message. So I'm just going to say this. Hey, man, shit happens. Things get said in the heat of the moment. We cool, bro. Second thing. So we're good there. Fraser Crane moment, over. Second thing. We're going to go back to 2 shows a week. We kind of got mucked up. We got sidetracked. We got fucked over, fucked up, whatever. We're going to be back. We're going to be back 2 shows a week. We're going to return to the old schedule, Monday and Thursday. That's it. No more special shows. Everything's Monday or Thursday. We're going to have bigger shows on Wednesday, and we're going to have live shows. But from now on, the regular podcast will be Monday and Thursday. We're not getting sidetracked anymore at all. Okay. Second, and the other thing, this is huge. Now, this is big, big news, and I need your guys' help. So this Monday, you guys call him Comrade Sanders or Cuckred Sanders or Cuck Sanders, whatever. But his followers and his supporters, both ex and current, a lot of whom are Trump fans now, they call him Senator Bernie Sanders. Now, I'll answer a couple of questions right off the bat about Bernie Sanders coming on the show. Now, you're probably asking, why would Sanders do a podcast that's about Trump? Well, I asked him to address his supporters in the Trump campaign, in the Trump crowd, and I was open to him swaying them, if he could, to vote for Hillary. And I also wanted to have an open debate with him. I felt like too many people wanted to talk to him and just want to rehash the old stuff. I want to talk to him about the actual issues at play, and I wanted to have a debate with him, and I wanted to actually talk about what matters. So Senator Sanders isn't afraid of me, and I'm not afraid of him. I think I've shown with the interviews that I've done over the past 90 days that, I can handle a discussion with competing ideas. I mean, obviously, I am biased. I am a Trump supporter. But I have the skills to have that argument if he wants to have it. And that's what we did. We talked last night, and it's going to be prepared and ready on Monday. The second thing is, how did we get him? Well, I'm not going to tell you. That's none of your fucking business. We have really strong, relentless bookers who go hard at a lot of people every single day. You guys know my guest list. You know who I want. We're trying to get them. We're even trying to get people who don't like us because we want to bring them on the air and we want to have a discussion. So, we were supposed to have this discussion on the air this past Monday, but schedules got messed up, things got turned around, feet got cold, but we got everything settled. We got a conversation done last night. It's a shorter conversation. I might bookend it with another interview, an interview that I might get at the Trump rally that I'm going to on Wednesday out in Phoenix. So if I'm going to get I might get some interviews to pad that episode. But we do have Bernie Sanders for a good 20 to 30 minutes. I don't know how it's going to look once we start editing it down. So, but we talked late last night. It will be ready for Monday. So I want you to tell everybody. You know that Bernie Sanders, this is his first interview post the Democratic National Convention, and it is here. It is here on MAGA Pod. Now, I know you guys are Trump guys, but this conversation was huge. And he said something in our interview that will make big news. What he said last night to me by phone in our interview is going to shock you. Now, please follow me on Twitter at MAGAPod or on Facebook, or mention it to anyone who you know that Bernie, even if they're a Bernie supporter, you got to let them know about this, because he will be on the show. When we want the word to get out, we've been sending press releases to MSNBC, CNN. We want them to let them know that this is the interview. And he says something crazy in this interview. You're not going to believe it. Senator Sanders came to MAGA Pod, made some great points, but he also admitted to something, and I don't want to give it away, but it's huge. It's huge. It's great news for us here in the Trump camp. And the Bernie bros who have disavowed and they're with us now, they're going to love what he had to say as well. I don't think any of you will be swayed. There's this last little line at the end of our interview. I think it's big. I think it's going to make big news. And it's going to convince all the ex-Bernie people who are with us to stay on the Trump train forever. So, another thing, before we jump into the hate mail and the conversation with Ross and Arsash, which is great. It might be my favorite discussion we've done on the show. MAGA Shop is officially opening its doors Saturday morning. We'll have 2 T-shirt concepts. You can get stickers, and that'll be for now. So you can pre-order these items, and they'll be out in about a week or two. And more items will be on the way. This weekend, go to magapod.com, and then you can click the link called MAGA Shop, and you can check it all out. Now, if you love the show, please, please, please pick up a shirt or a couple stickers. Now, we want the show to continue all the way till the election, but we're not communists. I'm not going to beg you for money. I'm not going to get money from John and get $5 and then yell at everybody to match him. That's bullshit. I'm going to sell you something cool, so you get something cool, and I get a little help to keep the show going. And you get some awesome swag in the process. Now, I'll remind you guys more about this on Monday when we talk to Bernie, but please go to the shop this weekend and check it out. Pick up a T-shirt, pick up some stickers. Okay, so today's interview is a longer one, and I know we haven't talked in about a week, and you guys want your hate mail. All this week, the nice email has been, hey, where the hell is the episode? Where the hell is the hate mail? I need more hate mail. Why can't you just record a segment of just hate mail? I don't necessarily need to listen to the interview, but I want to get to the hate mail. Okay, calm down, guys. One, we're back. We settled that. We're going to be back Monday and Thursday from now on. No more bullshit. And while we were gone, though, while we've been gone this week, the hate mail has kept flowing in. So let's get to everyone's favorite segment on MAGA Pod, the MAGA Pod hate mail bag. Okay, first email is from Jody. I don't know if that's a boy or girl, he, she, or it, or whatever's. This thing writes, LOL, your show is finally dead. I knew a pro-Trump show wouldn't last long. Now where will all the alt-right cretins go to listen to endless praise about Trump? You're a fucking failure. So we got a ton of variations on this email. All liberal Little Hill shills excited as hell that the show was dead. It is not dead by a long shot, Jody. We are only getting stronger. Never count the show out. We've got so much more stuff coming this month. The MAGA squad is expanding, actually. Our team is growing. So also, go if you guys love the show and you want to be a contributor to the show, you can go on the website and you can submit ideas and feedback for us. The MAGA squad is growing. So don't come in your shorts there, Jody. It ain't going to happen. This thing is going to keep going. It's only going to get stronger. Like the Trump train, it has no brakes. So, and by the way, thanks for listening, Queermo, or whatever you are. Okay, next email is from Lauren. She writes, how come you keep saying the C word? I can't believe you're allowed to keep saying that word over and over again, and someone doesn't pull your show from Stitcher. The word is worse than the N-word. Stop it, you stupid asshole. Now, you know, at first when I got this piece of email, I didn't get it. I was like, C-word? What C-word is she talking about? I don't even know what the hell she's saying. I had to think about it for a minute before I was like, oh, she means cunt. She doesn't like when I say cunt. Lauren doesn't like the word cunt. Lauren the cunt face doesn't like the word cunt. Guys, don't say cunt in front of the cunt Lauren. She might get pissed off. A lot of the feminists who write in and hate the show, they really hate that word. They don't like it at all. But thank you for listening, Lauren. You don't like it. If you don't like it, please don't listen. I don't know if we can change it, okay? Cunt. Okay, so let's speed round the death threats. So, whoa. I complained a week or so back that the death threats were slowing down. The BLM people picked up the challenge and they threw down the gauntlet. These are some of the best ones. Quote unquote, I'm going to kill you, motherfucker. I'm going to slice your honky throat. I'm going to shoot you and your whole fucking family. Quote, I'm going to rape the shit out of your girlfriend. So glad to have my BLM fans back. You're all a bunch of terrorists and I'm not scared of you at all. You're all a bunch of pussies. No one's scared of you. No one is really scared of you. You guys are fucking weak. You're cowards. And that's what really scares you, when someone calls you out on your bullshit. So you guys, if you keep sending this stuff, I might just post your emails. I don't know what the legality of that is, for start tracking you guys down, and we'll see, because I'm not afraid of you. All my information's out there, so I'm not scared of the BLM people. So you keep threatening me. It's funny. But I think it's time to kind of troll you guys back, because I think you're having a little bit too much fun. It's time to give you a little scare, see how you like it. And always, it's funny how with the BLM responses, it's always honky this and honky that. You know, you think there'd be a better, like, racial slur for white people, but there isn't. I mean, honky is kind of lame. It doesn't even have any bite. It sounds kind of silly. And you know what's really funny is, so the other emails that I get from my Hill Dogs and from my Bernie bots, when they find out I'm half Hispanic, I get these gems. So these are some of the racial stuff that came in. Let's speed round those. Stupid Spickinator. Bean Jockey, Beaner, Manual Labor the Landscaping Monkey, which I really liked, Greaser, Filthy Wetback, Border Hopper, Bordy Fairy, and of course River Nigger. As always, the racial hate comes fast and furious from the left. And of course, the show's number one fan, Debbie, checks in with her email. Now, she emails every day, and I read one of her emails on every episode of the podcast. Debbie writes, I hope Hillary suicides you, and I get to read about your horrible death on Huffington Post. It would make my year to know you died painfully and were murdered in cold blood. As always, Debbie is sassy and classy, but she's been getting really dark as of late, so I don't know what's up. What's up, Debs? Debs, is there a problem? I know you love me. Did you miss me that much? You love me. Stop playing hard to get, Debs. Come on, Debs. All right, so on today's show, we have a conversation with two guys. These guys are, one guy is a moderator from the Donald, the other is Ross. We all know Ross. He's a friend of the show. He's a contributor to the show. He's been on the show before, back in episode 2. So we have Ross, and then we also have his episode is also retired. I just want to point this out. The episodes are getting retired because the show has gone on for so long. Episode 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 16 have all been retired. So and they've been retired, but they're not behind a paywall. They're all the episodes are available on SoundCloud.com. So you can either download the app for Android or Apple, and you can get all the shows through SoundCloud, or you can check it out on PC. Anyways, Ross has been a friend of the show. He's a brilliant tech genius. He's a shitlord of the highest order, and he brought along his friend Arsash, who's a moderator at the Donald. So we talk about Trump, we talk about memes, we talk about meme magic, we talk about shit posts, we talk about shit lords. We talk about the lingo. We talk about the absolute best forum that you need to be a part of on reddit.com. It's a subreddit called _Donald. It is the place you need to be. It is where all the fun is happening. It is a 24/7 Trump rally on the internet. It's the best thing, the second best thing to going to a Trump rally itself. You can jump on anytime, and you have hardcore fans who have great material, great content, stuff you'll never find anywhere else on the internet. So if you are a Trump supporter, you need to be on this subreddit. You need to be involved. Just period. End of discussion. Now we're gonna talk to Ross and Arsash, and they're gonna kind of give us the details, fill us in. So for those of you who are on the fence, who haven't signed up yet, who aren't part of the Donald, it's time. It's time. Unify or die. We need to be all in one group. You are going to love it. So let's have a conversation with Ross, the Colonel, and Arsash. All right, stopping by the show today, we have R. Sash, who is a moderator over at the Donald. We talk about the Donald a lot, and then we also have our old friend from episode 2, Ross the Colonel. How you guys doing today, fellas?
Hey, Mark. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, thank you guys so
Thanks
much.
for having us on the show.
Oh, thank you for being on the show. We love the sub so much. I wanted to have you guys back on because there's a lot of people who listen to the show. They're down with the whole Trump movement. They're centipedes, but they're not fully on board yet with the Donald, or maybe they don't know about the Donald. So I wanted to have you guys on again, or have Ross on again, and have Arsash on, have you on for the first time, to kind of talk about what the Donald is and how people can get involved. So first, could one of you tell me a little bit about the Donald?
Yeah, go for it, Arsash.
Absolutely. The Donald's a subreddit over on reddit.com. Reddit.com is a multi-platform website that basically is interest-based by subreddits. And ours is, of course, interest in the Donald Trump election and campaign. And it's _Donald. And we basically are a perpetual rally for Donald Trump. Ross, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's basically you get a nice mix between news articles and important happenings and what's going on with the Trump campaign, but you also get the best memes, you get the best shit posts, as we like to say, you get the best just goofy videos and just goofy in jokes. And honestly, there's no other place I'd rather be on the internet than the Donald.
Absolutely. I mean, we just keep the high energy going all the time.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say you said something interesting there. You said it's like and this is like the perfect way to describe it. And this is I wish I would have thought of that weeks ago because it cuts through a lot of what it is. It's like a Trump rally online.
I actually think we used to brand the Donald as the 24/7 Trump rally, but due to search engine optimization, we had to change it to like Donald J. Trump, President for the United States. But it used to be like the 24/7 Trump rally was like our moniker. I mean, it still holds true to today. It's awesome.
It's 100%. I mean, that is the spirit of the entire sub. We're high energy all the time. We're electric for Donald Trump. And especially if anybody's familiar with like not only Reddit, but, in the internet in general, it's very leftist leaning. And so I think that we're kind of an oasis in that. And I definitely think that if anybody wants to give us a try, stop on by. And I guarantee you that we will continue to MAGA all the way.
So when did you guys start? How did you initially start? I know, when I first found you, I was familiar with Reddit because, there's a lot of interesting stuff on Reddit. I guess a lot of people know Reddit from either they go there for like jerk off material or they go there because they're reading, because they want to read about whatever,
Sure.
They have one particular interest and then they kind of get involved in Reddit and then they kind of go down that rabbit hole. And I know like there's some subs that are just popular that you automatically get when you sign up for Reddit. And I know there's other ones you have to seek out, and they kind of have to build that popularity. How did the Donald start, and when did how did that first come together?
When I first became involved with the Donald was in November of last year, and it was right after Trump initially posted that Pepe on his Twitter, and we saw the initial explosion, and we were approaching right over 10,000 members, and it just kept going. And a lot of our growth had to do with the kickback we were getting from the absolute Trump hatred and the Bernie Sanders supporters on Reddit. And we persevered through all that. And I think that, in a sense, we were a knee-jerk reaction, to that.
Yeah, I came in during kind of mid-December or maybe early December. It was a perfect time for me to start procrastinating for finals. I just started to notice there were a lot of similarities between the subreddit and the Trump campaign itself. The more the left tried to shout down Trump, and the more lies they made about him, and the more just bullshit they spread, the more people were interested in him and were like, well, obviously that's not true. I'd really like to find out more. And just like on Reddit, we were the laughing stock for a couple months. People didn't pay us any attention. Sanders for president was bloated. It was huge. And was slowly but surely we made our way to the top. I think we were right around 2 to 3 highest activity subreddits every day. However, we're like the highest I think we're the highest non-default subreddit, or highest activity, which is pretty awesome, But yeah.
So you guys are the highest when it comes to your subreddit. That one, people have to actually search out. You don't automatically get when you sign up for Reddit, and then so when people are finding you in huge numbers, and they're also being active on the sub in huge numbers,
Yes.
which is kind of rare for Reddit, right? I mean, there are there are non-default subs, but they're really not very active. I mean, there's a lot of really bad subs out there.
Yeah, let's go over some numbers. Oh yes, you want to go, Arsash?
Well, no, yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah, non-default subs. You have larger subs that are, let's say, maybe a couple of millions, just ballpark, like World News or whatnot. At any given time, even though they might have a couple million members, they only have, let's say, 700 to 1,200 people on at any given moment. Whereas we have an energetic community, and at any time, I mean, even at our lowest point during the dead of the night in North America, we have at least 2,500 to 3,000, and at the height we get about, I would say, 11 to 13,000 at any given time. So it's extremely energetic. And it's like the Trump campaign. I mean, we're always go, all stop, no go, and so that's the way we're going to stay. So,
Yep.
Ross?
And it's also worth noting we're only at 202,000, and you want to compare us to you compare us to videos with 7 million subscribers, or probably more at this point. Who knows? But yeah, it's definitely, when you look at the numbers, it's really really interesting.
Now, another thing that I wanted to point out, and I kind of wanted to get your feeling on this. I mean, we're talking numbers, and we talk about the people who are energized, who are into their particular candidate. And I'm here looking. I'm looking at the Hillary Clinton sub. And I also have the Donald open up in another tab, and I see, I see the Donald. We see a lot of high energy. I see a lot of posts. I see a lot of people interacting. Now, when I look at the Hillary Clinton sub, I see 25,949 readers, and they do not list how many are active at this time. Just kind of could you give me a ballpark of how big the readership is at the Donald?
Well, actually, can I touch on the Hillary Clinton one first?
Most definitely,
It's
yes.
very well. It's just like the candidate's a complete joke. I mean, how many people listening to you right now has ever really met like a Hillary supporter? And if they say they're a Hillary supporter, could even defend themselves. I mean, it's absolutely laughable. And you see that presence online where supposedly, the DNC or something has such a great outreach and whatnot, but we absolutely smoke them in every way, shape, and form. As far as activity on the Donald and readership, we have a very loyal readership, and
I'm looking at the stats right now. Actually, it's pretty awesome. We're looking at an average, I'd say, of around 2.8 million unique users per month.
Wow.
With roughly, let's go with an average of 48 million page views per month. That's a ballpark. You can look at the traffic; it's public. The r/the_donald/about/traffic,
Hmm.
and it blows you away. Honestly, like there's sometimes I'm astounded.
Other than say Trump himself, so other than Trump himself, is there any other that you know of, a group, forum, Twitter feed, or any other social media outlet that deals directly in just Trump that's bigger or more influential than the Donald at this point?
there may be some Facebook groups, but other than us, there's absolutely none.
I mean, yeah,
we're not affiliated. We're not affiliated with the campaign.
Hmm.
So, I mean, other than us, I mean, we just do it. Here's the thing I want to point out to all your listeners. We do this for free. We do this out of the love of our hearts. I mean, that's it. This is exactly what we want. We're true believers in the Donald Trump campaign. Um, our spare time, we have people that help out in various aspects, and we have all the way from doctors and lawyers that come on, just average blue collar working people, and it's just amazing the big umbrella that we have over at the Donald. So
a lot of kids who watch anime in their parents' basements.
So
that's also very true, Ross. That's also very true.
well, let me ask you this, but before we talk about the sub, I'm kind of wondering about this. So I read a story about a week back, and I wonder how you feel about this, Arsash, and how, Ross, you feel about this as well. So I read this article about Gary Johnson, how he gave like $30,000 or $50,000 to some private company to make memes, to give an online presence, and
laughable. I mean, it's absolutely laughable. I mean, for them to have to do that, I mean, first of all, you can't buy things that, I mean, just come from our heart. I mean, honestly, we have the dankest memes, period.
Period.
I mean, end of day. And again, because people actually want this and they like Trump from their heart, and they don't have to be bought and sold to be, an artificial
Yeah,
entity.
and I think, I mean, you mentioned Gary Johnson. However, I mean, the bigger elephant in the room, clearly correct the record.
Mm-hmm.
The shills for Hillary Clinton, who I can assure you have been paid to make shitty memes and stupid ass videos you see pop up on YouTube and Facebook from time to time. You're like, there's no way that is a legitimate like fan. That is just some horseshit. You see so many awesome, truly original content from everyday people who aren't affiliated with any organization that just put out amazing work. You can't stump the Trump. Yeah, you can't stump the Trump guy. You got the Trumpinator in the hall of the Trumpin' King. You have all these different types of videos, and it's just hilarious, and it's all for free.
Let me ask you this. Let me take a step back just a moment. So when you guys were both involved, and I mean, because Hillary Clinton subs at 25. So I mean, I mean, one of you mentioned coming in at 10. I mean, when you're at 20, and then it's growing and growing. When did you realize, or have you realized at this point, that it's more of a movement and not just about a particular candidate? Or do you think it is just about a particular candidate? Or how do you feel about the explosive growth that you've had in less than a year?
I think people are disgusted by the aftermath of the Obama administration, and I think that we are a movement in so much that we are a knee-jerk reaction to the ultra-liberal SJW movement in America, and it's basically embodied in the Trump campaign, and in so much that I think that this moves beyond just one candidate, but this candidate is the singular purpose of the sub. But I think we all kind of agree. Mark, maybe you do or do not agree. Ross, I think that you probably would. I mean, we're all tired of seeing the same liberalism running rampant in America. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, if Mark wasn't tired of it, he'd still be a liberal.
That's what I mean. Mark, I knew that about you. I wasn't going to call you out. The best word is degenerate. They are complete degenerates, and we're tired of dealing with it. That's it.
I agree.
We're doing what we can to stop that.
And I think I want to touch on more of the movement. It was kind of back in, like I said, December, early January. You started to get into it. The debates really hadn't gotten fired up. They were kind of Trump made some one-off jokes. Nothing was really crazy. And then like once the Bobby Jindals and all those guys started whittling out, and it got to like the meat and bones, and you started having the Kasich and the Ted Cruz and the guys who weren't really challengers, but they were in the public's eyes. And it's I just started to see him like Trump is dominating. Trump is he's everything I ever wanted and more. But at the same time, it's not just about Trump. It is the movement of getting away from these neocons, getting away from these conservatives. I'll tell you what, we'll go over that word later. But these people who I'm tired of just shitting on the fucking GOP, shitting on the DNC, the Democrats. I mean, I'm tired of it, and I think a lot of people are too. I'm glad that there's an outsider like Donald Trump here for us, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do.
Really breaks the mold. I mean, look at the last elections that we've had. I mean, we had Mitt Romney, we had Kane. I mean, again, they're just so lame and so unbelievable, and they're so manufactured. But you look at Donald Trump. I mean, he's everything that we want to be. He gets on, he talks from the cuff, he's unscripted, he's vibrant. He says a lot of things that people are actually thinking, but they don't want to come out, and like commit, I guess, quote unquote, career suicide. And I think that that's exactly what we want in a political candidate, somebody to break up the system, a businessman that's actually employed in, the old saying, the business of America is business. I mean, why not have a businessman actually do it then?
Yeah, definitely. Let me say something about my feelings on Mr. Trump. When I first noticed it, and you guys mentioned it, it's no secret. I don't lie about it on my show. I was a Democrat. I was a Democrat for a number of years. Actually, I would have considered myself liberal, and I was part of Reddit. I mean, I've been part of Reddit for a couple of years, and I was more of a lurker and then a poster. But I loved the what originally drew me, even before I got on the Trump train, was just like there was this like punk rock. Even to this day, you still see it. There's like this punk rock attitude. There's this certain aesthetic that you don't see on Reddit. It's a very like this might be offensive, this might be a little out of line, but how come you don't see that more? And it was just one of those things. There's like, well, you don't see this on Reddit is one of the biggest social networks or social media sites on the internet, and you never see this. You never see anybody going no holds barred. You never see people taking these kind of chances.
That's a home run question. I got that. It's a softball, Mark. A couple things. One, if you're the top moderator of Reddit, if you're a top moderator of a specific subreddit, and you don't like the way certain people are talking, delete, no record of it, delete whatever they have. You can ban them from your subreddit, and you'll never know that person ever said anything. So you can control the narrative, which is technically fine because it's your own subreddit. You can do whatever you want. But the problems arise when you're, the world news subreddit or your politics. You're these default subreddits where people go to for, well, unbiased news, if that's even a thing. But they go there because they want to get informed. And when you have technically one or two people on the top controlling what millions of people are seeing, it's when things can go from really bad to like absolute chaos. Like people can just anything can be the narrative, And another really, you want to go a step further. You want to get even more meta. The admins will crack down on moderators. They will. I've been parts of subreddits that will get messages from admins. I was a part of. I used to be a mod of Donald, and we've gotten messages from admins if they don't like the type of stuff you're posting or they want to see you move something off. Usually it's fine. However, they can very easily be huge assholes and just control whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. It's ridiculous.
I think the reason we're so raw and visceral is because we listen to our users. I mean, we don't take any shit from the other subreddits, and so basically we are where they go to basically voice their real opinion.
Yep. And we've also had our battles. You want to go into our battles with other subreddits?
Oh my God.
Well,
a long list.
Well, let me ask you this, because I mean, I know the most famous ones are the ones that have been written about. I have talked about them on my show. I mean, there's you guys have battled with Reddit, because I know there are other subreddits, but the other subreddits seem to be desperate for attention. That seems to be why they're barking up your tree. But tell me more about this fight with Reddit itself. It seemed like, if I remember correctly, and again, I'm a Redditor myself. I'm a user, so, and one of the few things that I never get, I'm always interested in what's going on with the memes and the shit posts. I'm not really a good guy when you say, hey, well, what's going on with Reddit? But it seems like what's going on with Reddit becomes sometimes is like the number one issue. But I remember maybe it was a month back or so, or maybe a little bit longer, you guys were actually in a war with Reddit proper, with the admins who changed an algorithm or something just to screw you guys over.
That's absolutely true. They absolutely did. I mean, what you got to say about that is we were reaching our all, which is basically like the front page of Reddit, if you would. And so we were doing it like just in large numbers because we have such an active community. And so what they did was kind of change up how you would do that. And, they'll get too technical on Reddit. It's kind of all BS. And so they're trying to hold us down and keep us from public view. But at the end of the day, we're just so vibrant. I mean, I guarantee, like your listenership, I mean, nothing's going to hold us down. So the Trump train continues.
Let me ask you this. Let me know if I'm wrong here. So Reddit touts itself as the front page of the internet. And so if you join Reddit and you go to your main Reddit page, the best things are going to rise to the top because people can upvote or downvote a certain thing. So if a topic is uninteresting, people will downvote it. Enough people downvote it, it won't be seen. The best stuff is being supported by people who are saying, yes, I like this. It's not like Facebook or anything else, right? This is specifically, there's a system.
You say the best. I mean, that's also dealing with the demographic, on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're such an anomaly. Basically, we're like the beacon of hope there. I mean, people, again, it's
I kind of want
a lot of left there.
I kind of want to reach out to the demographic that's not on Reddit. It's we're younger men, generally speaking. It's the internet. However, every single post that you see, I mean, the one thing that I'll give Reddit is they truly are the front page of the internet in many respects, and we're the front page of the front page, meta as fuck, and we control a lot of the narrative. So if you come to the Donald and you see the posts that we make posts as things are happening. We're the first ones on every single thing when it comes to the Trump campaign. You come to us, you're gonna get the best info as fast as possible, and you're not gonna see it 3 days later on your Facebook feed. You won't have to anymore. You won't have to check Facebook. You're just gonna be addicted to the Donald. You're gonna know everything about everything, and it's beautiful. And then, I mean, once you're sucked in, I'm sorry to say it, but you're here for life.
Well, true. You'll know it in absolutely. I mean, you're gonna know in fucking real time. I mean, you'll see it, and your friends will talk about it at the water cooler, 2 or 3 days later, and you're like, "That's old news. I'm on to something else." Absolutely.
It's so interesting because like when I think of all the articles that I've seen, I mean, we all know the big ones. We all know Breitbart. We know Rick Gated. We know the ones that we know the reliable standbys. I mean, everybody who's a Trump supporter for the most part knows the reliable standbys. What they don't know is like maybe the ones that are slipping through the cracks, or some of the times the bullshit that comes out there. What I love about the Donald is that you not only have like these great memes and this great shit post, and we'll get into that in just a second, but you also get this great news. I mean, I find articles and I find stories, either leaning one way or the other. You just find interesting stuff that I would not find on my own. I just know I wouldn't, because I don't have the time to search everywhere and find these stories.
But Mark, that's what happens when you have 200,000 plus people, sifting it through it, and sifting through the bullshit for you. And just basically, we just hand you, boom, here it is. And I think that saves a lot of time. So people are maybe disenfranchised by the mainstream media or whatnot. I think that they should come to us, and maybe we'll show them, the truth.
There's also the autistic people on 4chan that on Poll and B that help us out a lot too. So shout out to them. Pepe. Yeah, okay. Well, let's start off with Centipede. Obviously, it's the biggest one you were talking about. There's a song called by the artist Knife Party. They do a lot of techno, this kind of stuff, I guess. And one of their songs is called Centipede. It's got it starts off with it's a CNN documentary or a BBC documentary or something talking about how dangerous a centipede is, this and that, and it's kind of hard to explain. You just have to watch it.
Well, Centipede comes from the Can't Stump the Trump videos, which features the song by Knife Party, Centipede. And if you haven't ever checked that out, check it out. It's on YouTube, or just, swing by the Donald anytime. And it just sums it up. I mean, impressive length, hollow fang. And once you watch the video, I think it's going to come to you very quickly. I mean, it's just something we came up with over at the sub, and kind of the users loved, and so we just kind of stuck with it. I mean, if you're a Trump supporter, you are a centipede by default. And by the way, everybody listening, I hope that you are a centipede, and we're glad to have you. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I love that.
Mark, I see where you're going with this, Mark. I know where you're going with this with the terminology. You're trying to get around to the word cuck, right?
Yes. Well, I was gonna slowly get there, but let's talk about cuck. I know I've talked about this with a TRP guy. I've talked about this with a men's rights guy.
The TRP guy.
Yeah.
TRP, I love that. Yeah, very nice.
And no one seems to. I mean, they like it, but they don't seem to have a strong understanding of it. So let's talk about that word, because I guess a lot of liberals, and I guess Hillary Clinton's speech about the all right, and we'll get into that nonsense later. But it seems like this is the cut down, the insult that has caught fire. When we look at the Google search stats, cuck has risen like ridiculously. It's shot up. So I mean, tell me a little bit about cuck.
Because it's accurate. I mean, a cuck is essentially think about Bernie supporters. That's exactly what they are. They're cucks. And so much that a cuck is
I have a pretty good way of explaining it.
Well, go ahead then.
Okay. Okay. So, cuck is a shorthand term for, cuckoldry, or you're a cuckold. You practice the art of cuckoldry. Basically, you enjoy watching other men fuck your wife. Very appealing to many people, Bernie Sanders supporters. However, a cuckservative is our spin on it. A cuckservative is a conservative or Republican in general who likes watching other parties fuck your own party, or watching other countries fuck your own country. And it's just there are many cuckservatives out there, and it's just it's a sad thing. Basically, if you didn't join the Trump train and you were hopping on Ted Cruz and or with maybe Glenn Beck with the Priesthood Rising, I mean, you were probably a cuck.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you're a cuck. I mean, you look at people like, to see all these SJW millennials sitting out there, like that National Review article last week when they said that the average 21-year-old millennial has less, hand grip strength than a 31-year-old female in America nowadays. I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, they don't want to work. They want to be vegans. They're fans of, I guess, light bowel movements or something. But I mean, it's all laughable in the end because they're pseudo-intellectuals. They don't believe in anything other than themselves. And what they're going to do is they're going to blindly vote liberal just to basically get free shit. And that's exactly what a cuck is. And a cuckservative is basically the entire anti-Trump movement, the never Trump movement. And you see that because there's absolutely no differentiation between the two, in that they're basically the enemy and all they want to do is, I don't know, fleece the country, whereas we are actually true believers. We're workers. We actually want to do things, and that's it. So cuck is what it is. And the best part about cuck is it just pisses them off. And I absolutely love it. I love that just guttural hatred that
and
you
it's
get
generally weaker guys, the betas.
Absolutely, Beta.
It's such an interesting insult because it cuts right to the bone. I mean, if you were to call somebody a douchebag, I mean that's in the eye of the beholder. If you were to call somebody an asshole, it's like whatever. Maybe sometimes that's a good thing. Maybe sometimes it's a bad thing. But a cuck is like that. That's like a
Yeah.
real fucking kick right in the
Yeah,
in the
and
cock.
I think in the future, maybe next cycle, it won't have as big of an impact. But I mean, right now, it is a dagger to the jejunum.
Do you think because I know like a lot of social justice warriors, especially males, hate this. I mean, they absolutely hate this term, and you see a lot of derision about it. You know, they're like, oh, anybody who would say that is like a Nazi, racist, blah blah blah, whatever. We'll get into that in a second, but this insult is so powerful. Do you guys see it? Just do you see do you see it kind of dying down as things go on, or do you think this?
Absolutely not. It's going more mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard people out in the street say "cuck." I mean, it's so accurate. Again, it's so poignant. And by the way, yeah, social justice warrior is what SJW means. I don't know if I've said that or tried to clear that up. Some of our other jargon that we use, and I think "cuck" cuts right to their core. The reason it does is because the best insults or the best jokes have truth to them, and it's in
Mm-hmm.
exactly what they see within themselves, and they can't take it. And I hope all your SJW listeners, if they're out there, if there's any of them lurking, trying to throw shade on the Donald, that's exactly what I would call you, a cuck.
I I think it's I think Ross mentioned this is I think how I've used it and how I've heard people how I've known people at Regated. I work with those guys all the time, and how we've used it, and especially it's someone who is like who likes watching their country get fucked over in whatever way it is, and it's kind of like it's such a deep insult because people would go, no, I'm not trying to hurt my country, but you are. You're watching your country
Yeah,
get fucked.
they
You
say
must.
that, then you point to like 100 facts as to why they are fucking your country. They're like, well, no, no, no. It's ridiculous. They don't face the truth. They don't
How
face
many
it.
libs do you hear talking about America's not great? America is this or that, or I don't love America, or America, does
Or
all these
just don't
bad
have
things.
any flags
Well,
of the DNC.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's exactly what they are. They're cucks. I mean, have pride in America. Make America great again. So get on board with it. Get on the
Well,
Trump train.
Well, you always see this one. They say, like with the on the real far left, you'll see America was never great, and I just wonder, like, who?
Laughable.
Yeah, it's crazy. Who can have that idea and then one be able to relish in the fact that they have the freedom to have that idea, but then to have such a juvenile opinion is kind of ridiculous.
Well, who?
Juvenile is a
First
key
of all,
word right there.
people that believe that were raised. I mean, what? They're living in some cul-de-sac, living in upper middle class, America. They benefit from, the greatest economy that's ever existed. They exist in all this, and all of a sudden they think that they go to college or something. Now they're pseudo intellectuals. Now they're whatever kind of SJW they want to be. And all of a sudden, the same system that provided them the life that they are afforded to and the freedom of speech, which was given to them by the veterans and the people that died for it, now they want to rile against it and call everything's just complete
Well,
shit.
and you have
It's
to go.
laughable.
You have to go up the ladder. I mean, the reason they're writing this is because people like Hillary Clinton perpetuate false narratives that literally don't make like any sense. It's cultural or cultural Marxism. It's
Hillary Clinton is the originator, or if not the originator, the biggest proponent of identity politics in the history of America. And
Hmm.
that's the most divisive thing
she
that
might
could
not have
possibly
created it, but she's the
happen.
best at it.
Right.
Let me ask you this. So there was a recent speech back on the 25th, so not last Thursday, but the Thursday before. So where Hillary Clinton had a whole speech about the quote unquote alt right, and she named names. She mentioned Alex Jones. She mentioned Breitbart. She read some of Milo's headlines. And I thought what was funny was, and I had my fingers crossed that they were going to mention you guys, and I kind of think it was unfair
I was,
that you guys didn't get mentioned. But when you
We
have
do too.
because it seems like I'll get into my opinion later about the Alex Jones thing, but when you see a major candidate for president and she's saying this stuff about the alt right or labeling you guys the alt right, and then you have the BBC, one of the most respected news organizations in the world, running a picture of a Pepe saying that that you guys are the alt right shock troopers of Donald Trump.
the shock troopers.
Which is like, one, it makes it sound really cool, but two, I mean that's sort of unfair. I mean that's really unfair.
I wish I was as cool as a shock trooper, to be honest with you.
That was the thing. That was, I mean, I didn't actually see the shock trooper thing like until like an hour ago. But I mean that's just a clear allusion to the Schutzstaffel, the SS. Like, is that not what it is?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're saying. They're basically saying they're saying they're making
Or
a
the
Nazi.
stormtroopers.
But,
Yeah, the
but
stormtroopers are
again, Mark,
based on the Nazis.
right, it goes back to identity politics, aka trying to brand us as some kind of fascist Nazi or something. That's completely false. The Donald itself is not an alt-right sub. Are there alt-right users or members? Absolutely. But there's also, paleo conservatives. We have Trumpocrats. We have we're big. We're big umbrella. We're everybody that wants to go for Donald Trump. So her trying to label us like that, one, it's misinformed, and you can even see how misinformed it is by the laughable size, the wimpy size of her subreddit versus ours. They're not there. All they can do is just throw shade on us by their, CTR or whatever, and that's all they got.
Yep, and I know Mark's opinion on this subject, so I'm not going to steal his thunder on his talking points. But basically, the way it started off was, we were all there was a collective of people who shared a lot of like-minded opinions. A lot of it was on 4chan, on Poll, like I talked about earlier. A lot of it was on the Donald itself, and that people might have shared like different viewpoints on certain things, and it was more like a Stefan Molyneux and people like that, they follow that type of stuff. They didn't really have a name for themselves, like, so they just went with alternative right. It's not really mainstream Fox News. It's just like, I believe in right wing stuff, but I just look at it through this lens.
Right. They're basically not loner Jeb Bush.
Yeah, and
basically.
I'm saying Hillary Clinton and the left just uses that name that we kind of just, people just used to kind of vaguely define themselves. She uses that like, oh, that just means everyone's racist, and if you think that you're the alt right, then you're automatically probably kill children.
It's interesting because when we look at some of this language that she was using in her speech, and in one, it's odd that instead of talking about the issue, she wants to talk about Alex Jones and Breitbart and the alt right and start labeling everybody. I mean, that's one point, but the other point is that, like, some of her rhetoric is pretty dangerous. I mean, she wants to label places like the Donald like as if it's Stormfront, or if it's something even worse, like this is a group of Nazis. I think she said it was, I think the quote was the dark corners of the internet, which one makes me go, wow, that sounds way cooler than it actually is. And then two, but if I didn't know what it was and someone told me, well, those are the dark corners of the internet, your mind instantly goes to, oh, they must be selling heroin and they must be selling Vietnamese girls on the side.
Yeah, they're on the Silk Road.
Yeah,
Smart,
yeah.
Because that's all they have. That's because, I mean, what else is she going to talk about? I mean, she has not a leg to stand on. So what she wants to do is demonize people. Again, identity politics. If you don't agree with the complete, DNC platform of Hillary Clinton, you're either a bigot, racist, or some other form of divisive term. And that's all they can say because they have no lack of facts.
Yeah, it worked. It worked in the past, and it's done. People are done with it.
Smear tactics. I mean, what would Monica say about that, Hillary? Come on.
Well, let me ask you about this, because I think there's one way that you guys communicate specifically. Well, no, let me go back. I want to talk about this because there's something interesting, and I want to bring it up, and I want to get your opinion on it. And you don't have to badmouth him, because I like Alex Jones. I have no personal opinion with Alex Jones, but I love how when there's
the gay frogs are a problem.
The freaking frogs gay.
The gay frogs are a problem, Alex, if you're listening.
Never. Well, let me ask you this. Okay, so there was a story. There was a story about how in the mainstream media, how they said, oh, well, it happened during the DNC convention. They said, oh, there are people on the floor of the DNC convention who are chanting, lock her up. And this is something that Alex Jones invented. And I remember thinking, I was like, wait a minute, hold up. That's not true. I mean, I like Alex Jones, but Alex Jones did not invent lock her up. He did not popularize lock her up. When you guys see, and I know these guys are our friends, but at the same time, it's not really fair to the influence of the Donald and Redditors in general that all this stuff is kind of credited to them when you guys have been the innovators of Lock Her Up, Pepe's, memes, and we'll talk about those in just a second. How do you guys feel about that when you have other people who are kind of getting the credit for what you guys are doing?
Well, hold on. I want to say something. Whenever you say, you guys, it's the users. That's who comes up with this. I mean, every last bit of content, it's the users. And it's just basically a groundswelling. I mean, come on. Hillary Clinton violated how many federal laws, and she's walking free? I agree with Julian Assange when he says, if you're going to just let Hillary Clinton go, then why shouldn't I? Why aren't I free?
And it's also
it's hypocrisy on a unbelievable level.
And a lot of our users are usually going to be Glenn Beck followers. Like, not all of them, obviously not, but it's probably a majority. Or not Glenn Beck. I'm sorry,
Alex Jones.
God damn it.
Right, they eat way less Cheetos.
Yeah, I'd say like it's not a majority, but it's a lot of guys like Alex Jones. He's funny. He's out there, but at the same time, he spits some truth. So it's definitely I'd say that even if he didn't necessarily invent lock her up, I mean, like we have people who identify as an Alex Jones guy, so he might take some sort of credit in that way. Maybe he said it one time. I don't know where it originated, to be frank.
I'll give you this. I think that Alex Jones did a great job whenever he stormed the Young Turks, which is a despicable organization at the
They
RNC.
spit.
I mean,
They
those
spit
guys,
on
those
him.
guys are lap. Those guys are. I mean, those guys are a disgrace. I
They
mean,
spit on him.
listen to them. God, good. Who cares?
Let's talk about one of the things that one of the great ways that you guys communicate and one of the great ways you get messages across. I think me and Ross talked about this back in episode 2, and it's just one of these things that's just so amazing because and maybe people who, even if they're into the internet, a lot of people don't know what a meme is. So let's talk about what is a meme, and then let's talk about memes specific to the Donald. So I kind of know what it is, but give.
Mark, you know that meme magic is real.
Yeah, meme magic is real. You can't let your memes be dreams. So I mean, but give everyone else who isn't initiated
All right.
into the dark corners of the internet,
All right.
explain what a meme is.
I see you're looking at it through the wrong lens already, Mark. Memes have been around for forever. People have been talking about memes since I think the 80s, 70s, 60s. A meme is just an idea or a thought that gets spread around. What is it? Kilroy, that guy who, the army used to write Kilroy was here, and people started doing that. That was a meme. If you
Mm.
think about it. So there are like nowadays let's fast forward. So a meme is basically any thought or idea or joke or funny sort of thing that gets propagated virally, and people make various various variations on these pictures, and it can be political, it can be science, it can be they'll be like you'll have memes for your university, and they're usually terrible. Like these people really reach too hard. Like memes, this is a whole other conversation, but when people make memes, they have to come from the heart. They can't just be forced. Like it ties into Gary Johnson and Hillary trying to pay people to make memes. Memes are just kind of like a natural byproduct of a bunch of guys and girls online just having fun, making different sorts of shit, for a good cause.
Meme manufacturing is definitely not an exact science, that's for sure, Ross.
It's yeah, it's honestly too much. I mean, praise Keck.
It's hit or miss,
Praise
right?
Keck. I mean, it's in his hands and
What
Harambe's hands, of course.
I think what makes memes so effective is that you right, of course it is. What makes memes so effective is that somebody can look at it. I mean, it's a general idea that people share, an interest group, blah blah blah. And especially, I think that Pepe has done us a great job. We just had Pepe weekend last weekend, and we had a lot of fun with that. Um, I just think that it just sums it up. You don't have to sit there and go on a 20-minute tirade about something. You just look at one meme and you're like, that's exactly what I think, and probably laugh your ass off because that's exactly what we do when we shit post, and we do that a lot at the Donald. And honestly, I'm not gonna say we perfected it, but I'm not gonna say we're novices.
Well, let me also say this because when we talk about memes, I mean, we were talking about more of the funny ones or the more of I remember the first one I saw early on.
Well, Mark, let me cut you off, man. I'm sorry. I apologize. I looked it up. The meme originated in 1938.
Wow.
So since 1938, we've had dank memes.
Damn.
Yeah, Mark, what you mean by the best or the funniest? Let's use the terminology, dank memes. We have the dankest memes.
These are the dankest. But let me ask you. I want to bring up this one meme that I saw that back before I got on the Trump train. It shocked me, and let me give you let me tell you the meme that resonated with me. I remember it was the Kaaba, which is the black cube in Mecca, and we have the Trump plane barreling into the Kaaba, and there's an explosion. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, that hits hard. I mean, it's one thing to make a joke, it's another thing to bring. But you know what? When I think of that meme, and anytime there's a terrorist attack in this country, I think of that meme, and I think like, man, like fuck those people. Like it right. Speaks to something primal. I mean, there's the fun, there's the joke,
Mark, and then there's in your face, Mark. It's in your face. And it goes against everything we've been indoctrinated against. It's non-politically correct. It's boom, right in your face. Is this true or not true? And it brings out the gut reaction on both sides. That's exactly what we're going through.
Yeah, I'll repeat almost word for word what I said when I was on your show the first time, because I've been saying it since then. I've been saying it since I said it yesterday. I said it 4 months ago. Within like every shitty meme, every stupid meme that are just absolutely asinine and retarded and just out there, there's always going to be a kernel of truth to it that makes you think like, damn, that actually might be how things really are. It's like that actually had an influence on the way I thought about, certain things. And it's really interesting. And you're also, I mean, I can consider it, meme overload. When you're on the Donald, you'll see, information overload, meme overload. You have you'll see hundreds of memes a day. Your brain is just, it's ridiculous. It's like you're strung out on crack.
By far, our most successful meme has been the Hillary Clinton kissing the ex Ku Klux Klan leader Robert Byrd, and that's been put up in various fashion all over. And the left hates it because it's absolutely true. I mean, even Bill Clinton, eulogized Robert Byrd, who was a member of the Ku Klux Klan, and at his funeral. Well, and so did Barack Obama. So I mean that's on T-shirts now. That's on other websites. I think even the liberal Huffington Post even put a picture of it up.
Well, that meme is funny because it's like the meme that took over the election almost, because you have something, you have a picture that's so powerful that once you see it, you go, well, what is this? And then you start digging into it. I think that's one of those memes that changes hearts and minds, as crazy as that sounds, just to talk about a meme. But you have something that's just so powerful, so simple yet so powerful, and it's not. It is kind of funny in a certain way. It is kind of it's serious, very serious in another way. But it kind of encapsulates everything about her in kind of
Bingo,
one picture.
Right. That's the idea behind a meme. That's what I'm saying. It's just bam, right there, the truth. I mean, could you imagine? Because there's no such thing that Donald Trump never kissed Robert Byrd, which again, his exact title was Grand Cyclops of the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, what kind of laughable title is that? And here's the Grand Cyclops. I mean, who makes that up? I mean, that's like something that you see like Dungeons and Dragons or something. And here's Hillary Clinton, a presidential candidate, literally kissing him.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's exactly what sticks out in people's minds.
What have been some of your personal favorites? Ross, I'll start with you, and then I want to ask Arsash. What's been, when you think back of the memes that you've seen, and I know all three of us have seen thousands upon thousands upon thousands, but is there one that sticks out in your mind that really made you laugh or really made you think?
Oh, Mark, that's a pretty heavy question right there. I'll tell you what. Let's see. There were like so many great ones from the Lion Ted era and the Hungry John Kasich. But I'm gonna go to the left. I'm gonna go with the Carl the Cuck and Aid Skrillex as a combo. I mean, it's just beautiful for many reasons. One, it was just hilarious. Memes were great. And it literally memed our buddy, this guy who now works for InfoWars for Alex Jones. It memed him into a position on InfoWars. He was the original Cuck Slayer, the OG Cuck Slayer. He was the guy that defeated Carl the Cuck. I mean, it's truly a bizarre world we live in right now, and I'll attribute that to meme magic. Jesus.
I think some of my favorites, I mean, they may not be the most prevalent, but the ones that were basically putting Ted Cruz as Grandpa Munster for some reason, I thought was funny as hell. Low Energy Jeb, as the walk salesman, walk bowl salesman, and all that. It was just too funny. I mean, that's a lot of our popularity easily came from the originality of the community, and it's just funny as hell.
Yep, it's never been done before.
And the thing is, when you ask that, Mark, I mean, you got to realize that, I mean, we put up so much content and there's so much to go through that, I mean, it's hard to pick like one or two, I mean, I have favorite children, but,
Well, I want to talk about, now that we're into memes. I want to talk about, I know you guys had it just last weekend, was the Pepe weekend. And I want to talk about Pepe because it became such a hot topic when at Hillary Clinton's at Hillary Clinton's speech about the alt-right, when she's trashing the alt-right, when she's saying that we're all Nazis, we all wear Ku Klux Klan hoods, someone yells out Pepe, and it's
Mark, are you not wearing yours right now?
I am not. I have mine is in the wash right now, and then I'll cornstarch it as soon as it gets done.
All right, and make sure you get that cross on fire, okay? Thank you. Arsash?
Can't be a complete failure. Here, Mark. No, what? Sorry, I lost. I was laughing. I'm sorry. By the way, let's edit that out. I'm sorry. I started laughing to myself.
No, it's all right. So when we talk about Pepe, so I mean, let's talk about Pepe. Let's have a conversation about Pepe. Okay. So people are aware of it. I mean, I think my fans are aware of it because I keep the memes that I've demand people looked at have always been Pepe memes because I love Pepe. So, but for those who don't know, who is Pepe and how did this thing originate?
Pepe is a green frog. Okay, that's all it is. Pepe is a green frog.
Is he a Klansman
And
though? I've heard that complaint. It seems to be that always seems to be the
a
left wing
clan, like
complaint.
a member of the Ku Klux Klan.
Yes.
Are you saying that? Are you saying that some people have equated that a green frog be a member of the Ku Klux Klan? Is that what
Yes.
we're
I have.
trying to get at here,
Yeah,
Mark? Or
I've heard the
oh,
mainstream media label. They've talked about it as the Klan frog. I've literally read that and I've heard Rachel Maddow say that.
Rachel. Well, I mean, she's an idiot. And bottom line, yeah, I don't think a cartoon drawing of a frog equates, the Ku Klux Klan. And if
But
anybody can connect those
yeah,
dots, please show me how that's
but
going
I'll
to happen.
tell you. Okay, so we said what it's not, but I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
Okay. Pepe the Frog is a meme, and he stands for many things. He's kind of like I guess a fashion model for different memes. His face gets thrown in like anytime there's a popular meme. He's always about it. He's always in there. He's like the feels good man meme. And he just took a life of his own. And actually, we we had there were a lot of connections between him and Kek, the Egyptian god. Okay,
Hmm.
so have you ever looked into Kek?
No, tell me about Keck. My listeners would love to know more about this because I've read a little bit about it. I don't fully understand it, so lay it on me, man.
No, to be honest with you, I don't know the history of Keck. I always thought it was just something made up, to be honest with you.
So did
Yeah,
I.
well,
I always thought it was made up.
no,
I thought we make up everything else. I thought we fucking made
no,
it up.
okay, okay. So here it is. Basically, praise Kek. You go back. There's some Egyptian god of something. I'm pretty sure it's bad, and he's a frog head, and supposedly, it's the Egyptian god of darkness. There you go. It's the Egyptian god of darkness. It's Kek. He's a frog-headed Egyptian god. Turns out it's Pepe the entire time. So they now say that or Kek or praise Kek or Pepe. He's the god of meme magic as well, is what we attribute him to, and we praise him by making or sacrificing dank memes. As you know, there's some very rare Pepes that you only want to use for like dire situations. There's some Pepes you want to use like it doesn't matter. Throw them on Facebook for all you care. It's honestly it's too hard to explain. You just have to.
Let's talk about the Pepe that Donald Trump actually used. I mean, and this is correct, right? I mean, this is out
Yeah.
there. I've seen the screenshot. I wasn't following him at the time, but he actually retweeted a presidential Trump Pepe.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got to make it clear that it was a retweet. It wasn't like he put it out there essentially. But yeah, he retweeted a tweet, obviously, with it was a picture of the Trump Pepe standing at like a podium with the American flag in the background, and that's it's actually my flair on the Donald at this point. I did that back a while ago, pretty dank. But
There's a that Pepe has the most beautiful Trump cut I've ever seen, for sure.
and it was the Pepe heard round. It was the Pepe seen around the world. It was the precursor to the Pepe heard round the world, which happened a couple of days ago.
Let me ask you guys about the Donald. So, I mean, people want to get involved. We kind of talked about it at the beginning. So they join Reddit. They got to find you. And then, what would be your advice from two guys who are professionals on the sub? I mean, if I'm a new user, I find Reddit. Okay, I can find Reddit because I can find Facebook, I can find Twitter. So I found Reddit. I've signed up. I've searched for _Donald. I found you. I become a subscriber. How can I dip my toes in? Should I lurk first or should I just jump right in? What's your guys' advice?
Jump right in. Join in the conversation immediately.
Yeah, because
I mean,
well, you have to understand.
Get involved in it.
Well, no, before you jump in, you can read the rules. The rules are important, and we enforce them very strictly. You want to come in, you got to come in legally, right, guys?
Right.
So you read the rules, and if you can't follow them for whatever reason, there are other subreddits you can go to talk about that sort of stuff. However, if you can follow the rules, come on in. We'll treat you like family. And before no time, you'll be making your own memes. I promise you that.
I want everybody to come by, and the reason I say that is come by, check us out. I mean, get involved with the community. That's how you get, what you're touching on, with Pepe and the lingo. The only way you're going to learn about it is don't sit there and read about it. Be about it. Come on.
Yeah, use this
talk about it.
Use this as a like a little aside to Mark's program. you wanna catch up on whatever Mark just talked about, you can go on Reddit and be like, oh, well, that makes sense, or vice versa. It's a really good place to learn. Like we said, it's funny, but there's a lot of important news we put on there, and a lot of important announcements.
Absolutely, and like Mark is talking about original content. I mean, absolutely, come on by and just check it out. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're 18, 84. I mean, we have everybody, and it's fun as hell. So come on by.
What I love about it is like, I think anyone who would listen to my show would definitely, if you even just, lightly browsed the Donald, then you would definitely know what I was talking about later that week, because this is one of the subs that I not only love to read, but I also love to post on, and I love to read all the comments. I love to get involved. I'm not that.
You don't post, Mark. You shit post.
I shit post. So make that distinction. What is?
So Mark, are you a shitlord? Is that right?
I've been called that. At first, I remember the TRP guy was the first guy who said, he was like, "Oh, you're a real shitlord," and I didn't know the term at the time, and I was like, "Hey, well, you're a real cocksucker, so what's the big deal here?" But now I understand. So yes, now I will gladly wear that banner.
Again, why I want people to get in there and participate. That way you can learn all the terminology and the culture. You know what I mean?
Now we got to say I got a guy, so I got a friend. Let's say he's a friend. And he was a guy who voted for Bernie. Now he realizes that,
How old's your friend?
Well, if he voted for Bernie, well, he's definitely a male, and he's definitely...
He's probably 16 and deceased.
He's unemployed for sure, right?
Yeah. So yeah. Oh well, yeah, definitely. Right. He's unemployed. But let's say Bernie.
Mark. Then I want to ask you, why are you hanging out with such losers? Seriously.
Okay, go ahead.
You gotta help. You gotta help these kids. Okay, so let's say there's a guy. So he's 18, 19, whatever. He's a Bernie bot. He's a Bernie bot. He's a Bernie bro. And there's a bro. So there's a bro underneath there. Somewhere down deep, there's a bro waiting to get out. He comes to the Donald, and I went through this process myself, because I was a guy who was like, well, maybe Bernie Sanders, and I did the same thing. So what's the process for a guy? Because I'm assuming that he can't just come there and say, hey, by the way, Bernie Sanders has some good ideas. I'm assuming that you guys don't play that shit.
No, hell no, we don't. And we actually have Ask the Donald, which is another subreddit. If you have questions before you come to the Donald, again, the Donald is a 24-hour Trump rally. And again, like Ross said, read the rules, or you will get banned for, probably temporary for saying, minor infractions. But we're not here for open discussion. We are pro Donald Trump. What you need to do is you got to come in, you got to disavow Bernie and all of his deceitful socialistic lies.
I also want to throw out the subreddit Ask the Donald. So he said there's no open discussion, which is true on our subreddit. It's a rally. If you tried fucking us up, out. You know what I'm saying?
You'll be gone.
Go to the subreddit r/Ask the Donald, ask the _Donald. That's where you can have open discussion and just be like, hey, how the fuck does he think Mexico is going to pay for the wall, or something like that?
Right, that's the fireside chat subreddit, basically, of the Donald. So you can sit there and discuss whatever you want. When you come to the Donald, leave all Bernie love behind you.
You got to disavow. And then once you disavow, and look, people can dig through my history. I've always told people I was a guy who I disavowed too, and there's nothing wrong with it. And when you disavow, is it still?
How'd that feel, Mark? How'd that feel to you when you disavowed? Was it a cleansing moment, or how was that?
I wish I still had I had this for my AMA, and no one brought it up, but I can almost quote you what I had to say at the time. I think I said and it felt great. It felt so wonderful, because I was talking about, like, I'm pissed with the Democratic Party. I've been a Democrat since 1998. I was a union guy. I've always fought for democratic principles. I was a precinct person, so that means I actually would go and organize. I would organize our precinct to win Democratic elections. That's how deep in the Democratic Party I was. But my post was, I can't believe what's going on. I can't believe this horse shit. I think these people hate working class people. I don't think I have a place in the Democratic Party anymore. And I think I haven't had a place for a long time. And I think I'm just starting to realize that now. So, and I think I said, I disavow Bernie Sanders. Someone give me my fucking red MAGA hat right now.
MAGA. Well, Mark, you have the show now. I mean, like the old saying is, ex-sinners sing the loudest. So, I mean, that's exactly what you're doing. You know what I mean?
I think that's such a good point.
You used to love Bernie Sanders. Now he's, yeah.
I'm not familiar with.
So we talked about. Give me that sub one more time, where people can, if they want to actually engage, if that pussy Bernie supporter was like, well, how does Trump feel about replacing Obamacare? Give me that sub one more time. Where would he go to have that conversation?
Ross, go ahead.
It's going to be reddit.com/r/ask_the_Donald, no spaces. And yeah, that's where you can go. You can speak your mind and be a cuck all you want, I guess. I don't know. I don't mod that.
No,
but...
you can't be a cuck all you want. I mean, you have to have legitimate questions.
Okay, okay.
And they'll be addressed in a civilized way. Other than if you come to the Donald and you want to basically have a Che Guevara rally on your little post, so you're going to get booted. That's what's going to happen. Okay?
Arsesh, let me ask you a question about that. On that sub, do you see a lot of people changing their mind, or once they're able to get that information that they're on board, or do you see people coming there just asking those questions just to start a fight, or people actually going there and getting something good and getting on board?
We're seeing both. I mean, you're going to face a certain degree of brigading. Matter of fact, Reddit put it as a trending subreddit the second day it was ever made. I don't think they were doing us any favors. I think they were trying to, filter in a bunch of brigaders to come in and, I don't know, kind of cause some havoc. But at the same time, I mean, people do come in with legitimate questions, especially after the demise of, the Bernie Sanders campaign, which he was robbed by Hillary Clinton and the DNC. I think that you do see some people definitely, I would say, actually, you know what? I should rephrase that, because you see a lot more people actually changing their minds. And you do see some of the same faces coming back up at the Donald and being, loyal subscribers.
What is there usually? I mean, I know there wouldn't be just like one normal question, but what's the question you see most common? Is it simple stuff like hey, is Donald Trump a racist? Is it stupid stuff like that, or is it more detailed policy questions? Would you say is the most popular question that kind of pops up in that particular subreddit?
I'd say it's more of like a grab bag. There are some extremely well thought out questions. Some that even I'm like, wow, that's a really good question. And there are a lot of really good answers. And a lot of the times it's cool because there'll be two Trump supporters who might have a little bit of different, viewpoints on certain things, because, Trump's leading the way. So there are going to be things that get raised up that like we have to decide on. Like Trump's not going to have a plan for like he can't plan ahead. Well, he can plan ahead as long as he wants. However, it's going to be hard. There's going to be things that pop up that Trump supporters don't even agree upon, and I think it's a good place to discuss those types of things. But yeah, there's also some shitty questions like where are Trump's tax returns?
Oh, okay, like bullshit like that.
Low energy. Those are good.
That's the thing. We get trolled nonstop, day and night. I mean, we literally probably get, I would say, for every legitimate question, we probably get 20, 30, 40 troll questions.
Oh my God.
So we get that out. Oh my God. I mean, you have no idea. We're knee deep in SJW-ness. It's like Trigglypuff is the only person over there asking questions at times. It's disgusting.
Now, let me ask you about one other thing. Now, another great thing that's happening over at the Donald, well, I think, it's just my opinion. You guys tell me about, you guys can tell me more about it, tell the listeners more about it. But for people who really, it's great to be involved there. It's great to read. I love the Donald. It's so much fun to talk.
What's there not to love?
It's so much fun to talk to Trump supporters, and I think this Discord that you guys have, and I still still not certain on what actually Discord is, other than an app and a way to hang out with people and friends and chat. Tell me more about the Donald Discord and how people can get involved with that, and kind of give me a better overview of what Discord actually is for the listeners who may be out there.
Well, first of all, the best way to get involved with it is to stop by the Donald subreddit, first of all, and then we have it on the sidebar. And what Discord is essentially is a real-time chat and voice app, which is actually very easy to use. It's very similar to Slack. Have you ever heard of that? So
yeah.
If you've heard that. And it works in the same kind of context. We have rooms and the servers, and the Donald Discord. Basically, it's a continuation of the sub where we have different channels, where we have the MAGA channel where we create our OCs, we make those dank memes, and people like Ross do that. And I'm not that technically savvy, to be honest with you, to be very frank.
Yeah.
Now we did all the way from that to topical discussions about the Donald, in-depth discussions about the state of American politics, all kinds of various topics. And I definitely think that the best way to get there is to stop by the Donald subreddit and right there in the sidebar.
Yeah, and I also want to point out every other subreddit on Reddit, you go there, you have to message the moderators. It goes to their clunky mod mail, which sucks. Thanks for upgrading of the mod tools, Reddit.
Thanks, Reddit.
You go to if you go to our Discord, there will be for many times 10 to 20 moderators of the actual subreddit online. You can click their name,
including me and Ross.
Yeah, send them a private message and say, "Hey, there's a problem with this, or I don't understand this." Boom, you have an answer right away. There's no other online media outlet that does that. There's not that direct connection. We have thousands of people on there that come by, they swing by every once in a while. People aren't there. The same people aren't there 24/7. It's a mixture of people, but it's just always it's a great atmosphere, and it's just really really easy to communicate with the higher ups, if you want to call them that.
Looking back on Trump's campaign up to this point, what's been your favorite moment? Ross, let's start with you.
Wow, that's huge, man.
If you'd like, I can start. I can start.
Go for it. Go for it.
I loved the Little Marco stuff, and I loved when Little Marco, or Marco Rubio for the uninitiated.
Little Marco Rubio.
Yep.
What was it? Little Marco with the big mouth. Bing, bing, bing. It was hilarious.
When he turned to Donald Trump and he said, "Oh," he was getting shit on, and he was like, "Oh, okay, Big Donald. Okay, Big Donald." I was like, "Wow, man, that's like it took me back to the playground at elementary school when back in my day, you used to play Smear the Queer. This is not allowed in today's date, and I don't condone this, but you beat up a kid, you'd call him queer, and then eventually go, okay, I'm a fucking queer. And then you'd laugh because he admitted it. And it was the best bullying because it was self-bullying.
My favorite moment easily was when Ted Cruz was trying to give that speech, and Donald Trump was flying in his plane, and he ordered it to be so close that it drowned out the entire speech in the audience with his plane. And you could even see it on TV, and it said Trump right behind it. I'm like, that is the ultimate. I mean, that's the ultimate. I mean, how can you top that?
That's like the ultimate troll thing ever to shut Ted Cruz up, which I agree with you. That was another great one. Ross?
Just Trump's shitposting on Twitter. It's hilarious. He's honestly, he's the only person in the media who is faster to getting information out than we are, because it's literally coming from Trump. He shitposts like we think we shitpost. He shitposts once or twice a minute for days on end. It's ridiculous. It's binge posting. It's honestly it's a health concern, I think.
Well, Ross, when you only sleep it's not a health concern. He's perfect because, I mean, he only sleeps 4 hours a day. So, I mean, that's fine. That leaves a lot of time to shitpost. What about whenever when he tweeted about Ariana Huffington's divorce and the fact that her ex-husband left her for another man, and then Trump said, "I think he made the right decision." That was probably my favorite tweet of all time from Trump.
Or the Anthony Weiner one.
Oh my God, yeah.
Don't let your kids around pervert Anthony Weiner. But that's not really part of this campaign.
I think I have a better one. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. You tell me. When Hillary Clinton tweeted at him and told him to delete his account, he said, "You would know a lot about deleting things," which was like,
the ultimate comeback.
And it was literally seconds afterwards, or maybe a minute.
Trump is a troll king for sure.
Apex troll alphapede Donald Trump.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for stopping by. Is there? We definitely want to get people over there. We want to get listeners over there. We want to get people who are new to the show. If you're hearing the show for the first time, go over there. You got to be a part of the Donald. The Donald is probably I love that description that you brought up at the first part of our conversation, Arsash. It is a Trump rally online. If you've ever been to a Trump rally, it's high energy. It's the greatest thing ever. We want you over there.
Greatest thing ever. You make us blush. Come on, Mark. But
Mark, at the same time,
equally true. We love the show. By the way, we love the show, Mark, and we're all big listeners, and so we look forward to long-lasting relationship. Mark, can I ask you? I know this is your show. Can I ask you one thing?
Yeah. Go ahead.
What is your favorite part of the Donald?
I should say the news stuff. because I do get a lot of good news on there, but I just love the anti-Muslim stuff. Anytime there's, I'm gonna sound like an asshole for saying this, but when I hear
Mark,
there's,
you're half Taco Bowl, so
No, we're talking about the Donald here. There's no asshole.
you can't be racist if you're already half Taco Bowl.
That's true, Ross. But when I hear this is gonna sound bad, but when I hear like there's a bombing in Turkey that some Muslim blew themselves up and they killed like 30 people. The first thing I think of is like, oh, I can't wait to see those memes. That's the first thing I think of. I'm like, oh, I got to get to the Donald because I love that clapping one. The gentleman who's clapping.
I know what you're talking about. Absolutely, yeah.
And the last days since terror attack as it's flipping back to 0. That is pure heaven
Beautiful.
for me.
Beautiful. Well, not really beautiful, but it's funny.
It's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fucked up in all the right ways, if you ask me.
Yep.
But again, Mark, I mean, it goes against, this is what guys like, people that actually want to think for themselves, or people in general that want to think for themselves. What they come across is we've been force-fed. We're all in the same kind of age group, basically. I mean, we're younger than 40. We've all been raised, PC. You gotta be so PC. You gotta censor your thoughts. You gotta censor your speech. Blah 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 blah. People don't want to think that way. People have real thoughts. They're like, you know what? Muslims coming in and murdering innocent civilians. You know what? Maybe we should do something about that, or maybe we should do something about the illegal immigrant, situation in America. And when people want to present real ideas like Donald Trump does, then there's a knee-jerk reaction against that. And you find this, oh, he's a hateful, he's a bigot. No, he's not. He's a real person with a real solution that has the actual ability to do it. And we need people to come onto the Donald. And I would like to leave you. I mean, I don't know whether we're done or not, but
yeah, go ahead.
The number one thing to do is go register to vote and vote for Donald Trump as president of the United States. We can sit here and talk in circles. We can do everything we want. I want all your listeners to do that. If you support Donald Trump, don't sit there. Your vote does count. Get up, register to vote, and check that for Donald Trump as president of the United States. And I promise you, this will be a real change in America.
Amen.
All right, I want to thank R. Sash, and I want to thank Ross. Ross is the first guest to come back for a second time. Thank you guys for taking the time to come on the show. I also want to thank _Donald for all the great work that they do on Reddit. I also want to thank show producers Manzo and Robert Mullen, and show contributors Ross, JP, and Mitch. And as always, I have to thank executive producer and editor Lee Dean for all his great work. The show sounds great because of him. Now, please check out our website at www.magapod.com. Also, please follow us on Twitter at MAGAPod, and you can also find us on Facebook at, guess what? Same thing, MAGAPod. Now, we have a lot of cool stuff coming down the road. We have a Wednesday night live show. We're going to have a live debate show, a lot of really cool ideas, a lot of things that you want to be tied into. You definitely want to start visiting the site. We're going to have more content on the site, more than you're going to know what to do with. So definitely go to check out www.magapod.com. And don't forget, please do me 2 things this weekend. Don't forget to tell everyone you know that Senator Bernie Sanders is coming on the show this Monday. Tell everyone. Also, second thing, go to the MAGA shop and get yourself a T-shirt. Get yourself a T-shirt, get yourself some stickers. That's the MAGA shop, only at magapod.com. Help us save the show. Now, thank you, R. Sash. Thank you, Ross. Thank you, listeners. And thank you, Trumpire. Until next time.
Stay nimble, navigators.